This is the first look we've seen of the new housing system in BitCraft, and I am excited. So excited we've already got our own housing district zoned out and ready for our poor homeless workers to live in. Clockwork Labs provided myself and my fellow members of the BitCraft Partner Program this footage to share with you guys. So today we're going to do just that, and I'll also break down and explain the entire system while we do. Housing in BitCraft operates on two layers, the first being the players and the second being the settlement layer. Players will use their construction skill to unlock and buy bigger and better player house deeds from Brico. Then they can move in, build and place furniture, set up and use their own private storage, and manage permissions. At the settlement level, settlements will need to research higher tiers to build the structures for people to move into. This will let people have a place to call home and generate a little money on the side. And before you go to Reddit calling death to all landlords, there's no rent system. Settlements won't be able to take anything from you. Let's take a look at the player side of things. Starting out, you'll be able to buy a player house deed from Brico. The first one has no level requirement and costs 500 coins. The next needs level 10 construction, 2500 coins, and a tier 1 codex. We didn't get to see onwards, but it's safe to assume it will require 10 more levels, more coins, and a single higher tier codex for each upgrade. These upgrades give you access to larger homes with more space inside. And also, these upgrades stay with you forever even if you move home or region. It's tied directly to your character. You'll also be able to purchase furniture recipes from Brico and use the construction skill to make and probably sell pieces of furniture. Right now, we've only seen an outline of low-level wicker crafts, but I can definitely see this being a marketable trade in the future at higher levels as more is added. Once you have your deed, you can move into a building, either the ruined settlement, which has unlimited space, or a player-owned settlement into one of the tiered houses with limited slots. The type of house you move into makes no difference for now, and you can move into any tier house with any tiered deed. When inside, you'll be greeted with the ideal male living space, so best spruce it up a little bit by adding furniture. Any items of furniture will be used to create a placeable and movable indoor piece. You can deconstruct the item as well to return it to your inventory. You'll also be able to add storage chests. This will act as another huge piece of personal storage for players outside of the town bank. These chests are larger and cheaper than normal ones you'd be able to build on a claim, and can also store cargo. Thankfully, the wagon and such does fit through the door, so you don't need to carry items in one at a time. This will give players more storage even larger than the town bank, but will act as more of long-term storage for items you access less often. The devs are aware that these aren't exactly convenient to get to, so to compensate for that, they've given lots of extra space. You can move from one building to another building pretty easily, just go to it and relocate. If your deed is empty and unfurnished, it'll move instantly. As there's more furniture and items though, it will take longer and longer across further distances. This means that moving hundreds or even thousands of cargo using a house transfer could be possible, even if it will take many hours or even days. It all kind of depends on how they've scaled it. This isn't the intent for the system though, so we'll have to see how the numbers play out. Relocating within a settlement's borders, however, is always instant, so you can snipe that beachfront property anytime. If you're ever evicted for whatever reason, such as the house being destroyed or committing high treason against the Emperor God King, your house will retain all of its possessions and furniture. You simply just need to find another house to move into. You'll also be able to set permissions to your house with quite a fair bit of customization. Co-owners are all access and can adjust the permissions of others too. Builder lets players build and move furniture inside. Inventory is full access to storage, and visitor is who can actually go in, with an additional option for no access for blocking people. These permissions can be set to individuals, entire claims, empires, or a blanket everyone option. The most targeted access applies as a priority. So, for example, if you add everyone to no access, your empire to visitor, and your friend to inventory, nobody will be able to enter except your fellow empire members who can, and only your friend can access the inventory. Over on the settlement side of things, it's pretty simple so far. The tier of your claim determines the tier of buildings that can take place. Starting out with tier 1 and 2, you'll get tents. Later on in tier 3, you get wooden houses, and from tier 4 and up, we can see some stone buildings. The buildings I'm showing on screen here are small type buildings. A higher tier building determines the aesthetic and the income that each resident generates. The more expensive the house is to make, the more money you'll get back in return. The tier 1 tent has 3 slots, and the rest of the small houses I've shown have 5 slots. In the upcoming weeks after housing launches, we'll see larger buildings added, with larger houses and apartments cited as having from 10 to up to 30 slots. For now, tier 5 is the maximum tier of house as well. We didn't get to see what materials are used to build the houses yet, but with enough gentle prodding, we managed to get a little info on this. Expect each of these buildings to take 5 timbers, 5 slabs, and 1 of each frame, sheet, and tarp. Anyone can walk up to and move into a house that you have if it has a vacancy, and currently there's no control over that other than evicting players after a period of time. Evicting players allows you to demolish the house or have other people move in instead. That's everything about the system so far, included in this upcoming patch on Thursday the 24th, but the devs have mentioned that there's still a lot more they're interested in adding and are currently in the design phases for. Right now, for the player, it's mostly decorating and inventory, but they want to add more functionality. Things such as structures that you can interact with to give temporary buffs, crafting stations specifically for the interior of a home, or letting you use the home teleport to go to your bed instead of a claim. Personally, I'd love to see special trophy furniture you get from items, such as a rare drop from a King Umbra, or other ways you can show off personal achievements. Let me know what additional features you'd like to see with the housing system in the comments below. Clockwork Labs have been very receptive to feedback, and I think they'd love to see your ideas. Stay tuned, and hopefully we'll be able to cover housing in more detail over the next couple of days. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.